I'll tell you a little bit about my journey so you understand why I'm here. Being spiritual was always my passion from the time I was a little girl. I was definitely awake. And I also had a lot of judgments, even though I was very spiritual. So specifically, I thought that anybody who talked about ETs and extraterrestrials was bananas. And I was a big eye roller, very, very skeptical. And then the universe sent me on a journey. My journey was around plant medicine because I think the universe needed a way to access me, and it had to get me out of the way. And in order to do that, I got this very inexplicable calling out of nowhere: go do plant medicine. And so I acquiesced and I did it. And I was doing quite a bit of it. And on one of these journeys, I went out of this country. I went to Costa Rica, and I was there for a week, and I was doing back-to-back-to-back nights of ayahuasca, and yahe, which is a purgative. And starting the first night, it was extraordinary. Everything I was seeing and doing and what was transforming in me and all the stuff coming up and past lives speaking to me. And I was in it. I was really in it and surrendered to the experience. And beginning the first night, while I was we were on beds, mattresses, the divine came, and she was feminine. And she said to me, "Debbi, you are a shaman, you're a priestess, and you're a healer." And I did what anybody would do if the divine came and said such beautiful things. I argued. I said, "What are you talking about? I am not that." I had no context for these beautiful words she was using, and I found it very confusing. That I felt pretty clear on my path. But she came night after night, and night after night as I drank and I let go, she appeared through the medicine to sing me that song over and over about who I was. She was going to make sure before I left Costa Rica I was going to get it. And I didn't exactly, but I got the message. And so when I came back, I did some regression timeline therapies. Like, what was that? And I immediately saw myself as a male shaman, many, many lifetimes, very beautiful. And then on the final session, I saw myself as a female Mayan. She was a priestess. She was a leader of her people living in a temple. She was over 7 feet tall, bigger than most basketball players, extremely skinny. And I spent the day with her, and I was amazed at this aspect of me, very different than me in her behavior, and a wild creator. And before I left, I needed to understand, how do you create like that? What is that like? And I had a lot of assumptions about who she was and what she was doing, and I hit her with the questions, and she shook her head, and she raised her finger, and she telepathically said, "I am not from here. I am from another galaxy." That was it. I was brought back out, and I just thought, oh my gosh. All that stuff I judged, all that stuff I didn't understand, it's true. It's true, we really are from the stars. We do really have galactic lives, concurrent past, all the stuff. And I have been that. There are probably, if that's an aspect of me, there's probably many, many aspects of me that are galactic. And what that did for me, no hesitation, no resistance, hunger, extreme hunger to understand what is this ET, UFO thing, to understand what is this shaman thing. And so I went on a journalistic journey, and I went basically from program to program, long, extensive programs, working with the greatest shamans around the world. All I wanted to do was understand what shamanism. And when I got into shamanism, and it was very edifying, I went for the information, but I changed massively. And there I am deep in shamanism, thinking I'm just gonna learn about this so I can understand what the heck this divine creature meant. But instead, I'm starting to get these downloads about extraterrestrials at the same time in combination with shamanism. And getting this information checked out with these shamans. Is this right? Have you guys been in touch with extraterrestrials since the beginning of time? Yes, they would tell me. Our people have known this forever. It's part of who we are. In fact, we're not from here either. And each of these sects all around the world of the indigenous have been connected with the extraterrestrials. So something was born in me that was huge and blossoming and never ending. The first person I worked with, the first shaman, was a female shaman from Peru. And interestingly enough, who knows why, they have all been from Peru. And her name was Rosalba, and we would meet in my town. And there's a beautiful forest, wood area. And we would meet there, and she would take me through journeys, shaman journeys. I would bring my dog, Shelby, because Shelby loves adventure. And she would call her Shaman Shelby. And we would get into a chair as Rosalba drummed over us, and I would be gone into a trance, wherever she was taking me. The final experience that I was having with her was because I was about to embark on a 6-month program with Dr. Alberto Villota, and I was told it's going to be an extra 10 to 30 hours of your life every week. And I thought, oof. My life is a lot right now, so I can't think about the how. I know what my gut says, so I'm in. So with her, that was our last session. And in the last session, laying on my physical body was laying in this chair, but the rest of me was gone because she took me in the underworld into a cave. And while I was in this beautiful cave, there were many things she was bringing me through for a shamanic culmination. And as this experience is going through, just as real as I am here with you, or just as unreal as we are all here together right now, I suddenly feel this enormous presence next to me. And I look over and I see brown fur. And I keep looking and looking and looking. And there is an enormous male brown bear on his 2 hind feet, roaring, blowing my hair back. And I was so amazed to see something this magnificent. I wasn't scared at all. And when he was done, he got down with some weight on all 4s. Now, Rosalba was still talking, so I need to follow her guidance. And I'm going through the guidance, and this bear is constantly beside me. And when Rosalba was bringing me back out and our experience was complete, I got to the entrance or the exit of the cave, and I turned to this beautiful bear and thanked him, but explained, I need to go. And the bear looked at me and said, I'm never going to leave your side. And the bear came out with me, and we have a tree of life that we come back up to here where we call shamanically the middle world. And Rosalba would always ask what happened. She wanted to know certain markers that happened, and she'd weave them together and explain to me some shamanic information for me. And we went through that process, and I said, there's something that occurred you did not guide me through, but I wanted to share with you. I had a visitor. I had something remarkable happen, and I expressed about the appearance of this very large brown bear. And Rosalba said, oh, my dear, you just met your spirit animal. And so for all of us during our life, we have one spirit animal. Now, like we will today, we interact with other animals, and we will be working with the medicine of other animals. And animals can leave in and out. We can call on animals for anything that we want and need. And my friend Don is here, and I know Don from Don Oscar Miro Cruzada experiences. We've been together at retreat, and I have this beautiful memory looking at you of when Don Oscar remember he was talking about the llamas. And I said, I have a story about the llama. And he said, like he was tired, and he said, he'd been teaching all day, and he said, can you come up here and do it like it's a story? So I spoke to the entire group, I think it was 80 people there, and I told them all, like they were kids, the story of the llama, which is a gorgeous story. If we have time later, I'll tell you the llama, because it's such amazing medicine, period, wherever we are in life. So I love your brother. And we all have one animal. Whether you know it or not, doesn't matter, it is always with you. And then we have animals we can call in. But I want to give you some clarity around your animal, whether you know what it is or not, because so many people think, I love crows. It must be a crow. Or I always see dolphins. Or whatever animal comes up for you that you might feel that must be it. But here's what's interesting about your spirit animal. It actually contains what you lack or require. So it's filling in the gaps of what's been missing. For me, the brown bear, because I was like, what? I didn't think it was cool to have a brown bear. And I was a little bit bummed. I thought it would be a sexier animal or something. And then I read and read and read and read about the medicine, and I was like, oh my God, this is so perfect. It literally was going to gift me with everything that hadn't been around when I was a kid. The safety, the loyalty, the ferocity, the I got your back and if anybody tries to mess with you kind of thing. It was so beautiful, but bears are very playful. They're very adorable if you ever see them rolling around. They love their honey. I love my honey. And all this stuff. But I mean, it really had beautiful qualities. And I'll tell you an interesting story. I had a client, because I do sessions, mostly I do group stuff online or in person, but I also occasionally will do a session for somebody. And this woman was a therapist and came to me. And she had some sexual inappropriateness when she was younger. She's an amazing person and a very well-developed person, very functional. But she said, but this thing, I've done so much work on it, but I'm so tired of it. Can we do a soul retrieval? I just want that aspect of me that went through trauma back then. I want it back. I want to reclaim it. It's a long session to do soul retrieval. So I took her through the soul retrieval. And when I do that and I do the journey for the person, there are things I bring back for them, including that piece of their soul that has been cut off at the time of trauma. But I also get them a gift. They always get a gift from Source. And then they also get their animal spirit. And so I went, there's a very particular place where I find that, and I went in there, and it was a giraffe. And I was very surprised. You don't know what's going to show up. When I do work on the hollow bone, I get out of the way. I let my shamanic lineage come through me. I let the galactic benevolent beings I work with come through me, and what they give me, I just share with the person, and it's almost amazing always for the person. I don't know. And so in this case with the woman, a giraffe, and when we came back and were discussing her session, I was explaining, think about a giraffe. And what is the one thing, if a giraffe can do, is see out far and wide, above the trees even. So if any danger was going to come to her, this giraffe would see it so far in advance it could protect her. Such a beautiful animal to appear for her in its gentility, but also its ability to protect her for the rest of her life, that nothing like that would ever happen again. And even as we course corrected the past and reconnected her with that part of the soul, that it was there for her then. And she's so cute because she went out and she was into it, like giraffe calendars, giraffe socks, the t-shirts. She wanted to represent her animal. So we all have one. We all have an animal. And the first animal I'm going to work with you on is owl. In the Quechua language, from Peru, from high up in the Andes, they call it tukur. And the owl is the seer between worlds, the true vision, the one who can see through the darkness, the one who's the initiator, because it takes you on thresholds. Sometimes it's portending death, but often it's a big life change to be aware of. And the owl brings you truth because it sees everything. And think about how it turns its head and all the directions it can see. So owl is a beautiful animal for us to start our work with because, as always, you want to clean first before you bring in. That's why 2025 was so amazing, the year of the snake, because it allowed us to let go, let go, let go, let go. Because what is this year? The fire horse, right? Rapid opportunity, bring in, bring in. We needed the capacity. So we're going to start with owl and do an activation around owl. And owl is going to bring you some dissolving, some truth, and some things to let go of. But I don't want your head to get involved. I want you to be just a part of the process. And I'm going to put on some music for us. And if you would please close your eyes and take a deep breath. Yeah, that's nice. Uncross your hands and your feet. This way, if you're uncrossed, the energy can go through you very nicely. Oh, just let everything go from the moment before you walked in this room, the week before you came to this event, the year before this. Let it all go. There is no place to be. There is nothing to do but to be right here, right now. And see yourself in a moonlit forest with mist everywhere. Silvery mist at your feet and in the air. And as you stand and look around this forest, you hear ooh, 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 ooh. And notice a giant owl off in the distance, larger than any owl you've ever seen before. And this beautiful owl is highly aware of your presence and working with you and giving you its medicine. And the owl, as it flies, see its eyes, its feathers, its ears, its massive wings. And it lands in front of you and you look into its eyes. And they are eyes of starlight. And the owl opens its beak, and the interdimensional corridor opens up, flowing to you with benevolent galactic love and awareness of who you are in all your multidimensional lifetimes, including who you are anchored right here, right now. And the owl lifts its wing over your head, over your crown chakra. And as it does, it starts to activate you to see the truth. And right now it wants you to know, Tukur, showing you a truth about yourself that you have not wanted to see or know. This is time to know this, to be responsible for this, to heal and to release this. Allow that medicine, that truth to come into you right now. And now it wants to show you something in your life that you need to dissolve. Something that you need to release that you're still carrying around. It could be a person's situation, behavior, experience that you keep repeating, old story. What is it time to dissolve? Still with its wing over your crown chakra. See it like fog, smoke coming out of you, just being released. Easy, it's that easy into the ether because it transmutes and becomes the light to be used for the good. Just let it pour out of you. And now what is it that you've been allowing to get in your own way? Because there is a next step, a next place for you, and you've known it. What is the obstacle that you've placed on your own path that you're more than ready to let go of? Because you have a lot of universal help right now. You are not alone in this moment, and you're not seeing this alone. You have a whole team surrounding you, including the owl, and allow yourself now to see what you've been putting in your own way. And I know it hurts. And it is okay to choose to let it go. And see that illusion that you constructed being released from your body right now into smoke, into a fog. Just energy being released into the air because it's being taken by the all that is to be transmuted into the light. And now the owl comes back around in front of you and looks into your eyes with its starlit eyes. And receive the medicine codes right now from Owl of true sight. Shoo. 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 And we say, Owl, thank you for your medicine. Thank you for assisting me on my path. And I know I can call on you anytime when I need to release something and I'm not seeing what's there, when I need to know more about myself and have sight about that or a situation I'm in, when I need to release something from my path that has been getting in the way, and either I accept it in my path or I've put it there. Help me see. Thank you, Takor. And with that, the owl flies off, back into the forest. And you very gently come back to this moment in time. And just wiggle your toes and your hands and maybe gently massage your face and come back.